I was not a very good player, and I had to work at it really hard. And I shouldn't say I wasn't a very good player, I just wasn't good enough to play on the tour. So I had to work really hard to get my swing in shape. So I had to learn a lot. So I experimented a lot. I talked to a lot of different people, and I guess I educated myself for many years on the mini tours. So, you know, those who can't play teach, right? That's the old saying. Right. But I loved it, and it was kind of, I think I remember as I bounced back and forth from golf courses in the north down to Florida so I could play during the winter time. What happened was, you know, I taught a lot and I'd make extra money, and that was the extra money from teaching was to help me play on the mini tours during the winter. So the teaching led me to study the swing more, and then, you know, in the beginning, you know, teaching was kind of weird back in the old days because there wasn't really anybody telling you how to do it. The first golf professional I had, we walked out onto the tee, and he hired me as the head of instruction at Exmoor Country Club in Chicago. And I remember his comment to me was, it was kind of funny. He said, "You just don't want to mess anybody up." He goes, let me ask you. So we looked at a couple people on the tee, and he says, "What do you see here? And what do you see here? What do you see here?" And I told him, and he says, "All right." He says, "You got a good eye for it." He goes, "But," he says, "you know, you're teaching the members here." And he says, "Just don't mess anybody up." And you know, of course, that first year when you're teaching, I remember, you know, a couple months later, I had my first shanker. And so I sat down with the head pro there. His name was John Cleland. And I said, "What do I do with this guy?" And he goes, "Well, what do you think the problem is?" And I said, "He can't hit it on the club face." You know, and he says, "Well, why do you think he can't do that?" And I said, "I don't know." I couldn't figure it out. So, you know, you have to go through these learning experiences. But I remember early on, I knew that people had bad swings, and I thought there's got to be a better way to change people because it was hard to make change. So that was one of the first things that was, I think, to me, fun. I like seeing things go from bad to good.